typ inte trött. Ligga och försöka somna, det är värdelöst. Men annars mår jag bra. Själv då?
Jag sover väldigt bra. Och jag mår bra. Jag har så här, sen corona började och så har jag jobbat med Domino hela min tid. Jag vill göra något annat också. Så jag har börjat jobba på hemtjänsten. Och jag tycker det är helt fantastiskt kul. Jag jobbar där 2 kvällar i veckan. Så cyklar jag runt och typ fikar med gamlingar och tar hand om dem. Och jag tycker det är väldigt fint jobb. Så jag gör det.
Fantastiskt.
Ja, det är fett kul. Så jag ska ju bli vaccinerad på måndag förresten. Jag kommer till att vara först i landet.
För att du är vårdpersonal.
Precis, jag går före alla liksom. Jag står i främsta.
Där har vi baktanken med att köra hemtjänsten. Du vill bara ha vaccinet. Nej men fan, jag har också jobbat i hemtjänsten förut när jag gick på gymnasiet. Det var ju liksom jävligt givande. Mycket fina gamlingar, mycket ensamma äldre. Tycker jag är hemskt att se ändå.
Men då blir man så glad. Man blir extra glad när man får liksom ge dem lite ro i vardagen, lite nöje.
Ja, även det betyder så jävla mycket för dem att komma och ta den där fikan. Eller bara liksom på sällskapet.
Verkligen.
Fan vad coolt. Och bara liksom, nu ska jag testa något nytt. Jag känner tjänst.
Ja, jag måste säga, jag känner dock att jag måste typ, för jag har min business och det går bra och det är kul. Och så måste jag liksom hela tiden förklara mig varför jag jobbar på hemtjänsten. Men jag känner att jag ska sluta med det. Och om folk ifrågasätter det får de göra det. Men jag tycker för det enda tråkiga med jobbet är att det inte har någon status. Men jag tycker jobbet i sig är typ det bästa jag kan tänka mig. Jag får cykla runt också. Som fan, jag cyklar ju bara. Det är bara cykelavstånd till alla. Så jag cyklar runt på Söder. Och har det bra.
Det är ju liksom personlig utveckling. Snarare än att du gör det för kanske pengarna eller liksom.
Ja men typ.
Mycket att lära sig av de som levt ett helt liv också.
Ja, och snacka om döden tycker jag är fett spännande och ger mig lite perspektiv och så. Alla är så här, eller hälften av dem är så här, jag mår dåligt liksom. Och vad lever jag för? Och så ska jag liksom, för att äta den här mackan liksom.
Ja, exakt.
Men just det, jag sa det för att jag jobbar tisdag och onsdag kvällar. Då börjar jag så här 7 på morgonen på vanliga jobb på Domino. Och sen så slutar jag klockan 11 på kvällen. Så går jag hem och dunstar bara direkt efteråt. Och nu är det torsdag, det är min favoritdag på veckan. För då kan jag sova ut lite.
Okej, skönt. Fan, du är en doer utan dess like.
Ja, jag vet inte. Jag blev lite singel här nyligen tror jag. Och då man blev lite så här invevad i det här att man levde med min flickvän och så. Och då blev det så här, att man blev så bekväm på något sätt. Inte för att man blir en sämre version av sig själv man blir tillsammans med någon. Men det var så här, och nu blev man singel och bara nu bara vill jag springa runt och göra allt. Lite ADHD-mässigt.
Ja. Man får ju, eller känns det som att man får så oändligt mycket mer tid plötsligt när man blivit singel. Men det var ju tråkigt. Du tror att du blivit singel, sa du det?
Vad sa du?
Sa du att du tror du har blivit singel?
Nej, det sa jag inte, hoppas jag. Nej, jag vet. Så mycket vet jag.
Du är säker. Okej, men det är tråkigt att höra. Men det kanske var for the better.
Det var supernödvändigt. Förlåt att jag drog upp det. Det var bara för att... jag vet inte. 2020 har varit så här. Jag jobbar på hemtjänsten. Och så har jag bara massa med Domino har det blivit. Och det är väldigt kul. Det är väldigt kul.
Nej, fan. Du behöver inte säga sorry för det. Jag tycker sånt där är kul att snacka om. Men bara avslutande ord där. Jag gjorde slut med mitt ex för typ ett år sedan. Och bara några månader efter träffade jag en helt fantastisk tjej som jag tror verkligen är the one. Så att det blir bättre. Oavsett vilket. Hur det känns.
Grattis!
Tror jag. Ja, tack. Det känns bra.
Gick du runt och tänkte att hon var the one förra också om jag får fråga?
Jo, det gjorde jag nog också i och för sig.
men hon tar ner dig på jorden.
Ja, nej, men det är ju bra att tänka så. Nej, men jag vet inte, du har säkert också varit i många relationer. Man märker ju liksom, man smalnar som ner vad man vill ha efter man har varit några liksom, och vet efter varje relation vad man inte vill ha.
Ja, verkligen.
Och då när man har haft några relationer så tror man sig i alla fall veta vad man vill ha.
Verkligen. Ja, nej men så är det.
Men vi får boka in en relationslektion sen.
Ja, precis. Men det kommer bli... Ja, vi får hitta en helt enkelt. Mycket om Ai och Xihuan. or hen.
Okay.
Okay. Let's get started then. Are we ready?
I am ready.
Very ready. Okay. So this is actually like this is when it gets very exciting. I feel like I've been talking about laying down the bases and stuff, but now this is like really like when we get to the hardcore of things. Like we get the xiang, which I love. Do you love the xiang?
I do love the xiang.
Well, yeah.
I haven't mastered it yet, but I love its potential.
Thank you for looking at it from that point of view. Then we have xue, which means so many things, and it's so useful. Then we also have jueda, which is so useful because now we can start. Like I love these verbs. If you haven't noticed that yet, and now we have enough verbs to talk basically in Chinese. It's just that simple, really. I think at a basic level, these are the words we need.
Yeah, I felt like that this is some very like fundamental words to like combine sentences. I just need to get them to be more familiar with them because I'm not too acquainted with them yet.
Yeah, of course. But so let me just go through it from this grammar point of view. Well, actually, no, I can. It probably makes more sense if I go to where is that, by the way? Here it is. I'll go to practice session. Yeah, by the way, it says join now because it's live. So if there's a blog, there's a link that says blog, just change it to join on every. This is a WordPress site. These are all WordPress pages that we built. You can just find them there instead. There we go. View. Okay. Chapter 3. Okay. So we have a few ones. So what I'm going to try and do is not go through all the grammar points, but just the most important ones. And then at the end of every level, if I notice that you're struggling with something, then I'll just send them to you and I'll give you we'll take 3 or 4 days between every level. And then you can work on those things that we've sent to you if you've missed anything or something. Because we just simply don't have time to go through every grammar point. And I also don't think it's necessary. However, we will create grammar points for everything. First of all, there was this yo. Can you explain to me what it means?
Can you share your screen first? If I may be so rude and ask.
Oh, you've just been looking at me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. No, you can't see me anymore, I hope.
No, I don't.
Okay, 现在看不到你. Can't see you now. Correct? 好的. So let's start with this.
现在
看不到.
看不到.
That makes sense, no? 看不到.
Yeah.
Look not arrive. Okay. First we have this little 基本. Not the most useful thing, but it makes your Chinese sound very nice. 基本 means what? 什么意思?
基本 basically, was it that one?
Yeah, basically, yeah, nice. So
basically,
we can say, this is too basic. Like if something is too simple for you, you can just basically saying simple. You can just 这个太基本了，太基本了。
这个太基本了。
太基本了。
太基本了。
Nice. And then also Chinese uses, and this is a grammar point. Jianan, this is a grammar point. So what I'll try and do to Jianan now is I'll write all the time so she doesn't have to look through all of these. I'll just tell her when there's a grammar point. So right now it's 11:07. I'll just write that to her. So when she looks through this, she can just look at 11:07. So the grammar point here is that we say, sorry, I need to open up a LibreOffice. I should have done this before we started the lesson, sorry.
I forgive you.
Thank you. You are so forgiving.
I do forgive a lot.
Plenty of forgiving. Okay, so what we learned then was that we had, whether this is level 3, chapter 3. So we had 基本, which means basic, or basic. Yeah, basic. or base actually as well. You can also call it basically. Haha. Now we can say 这个太基本了，太基本了，不，哎呦，基本了。There we go.
哎呦，
Ayo. But the important thing here is that you learned that you can say ma, for instance, and then shang. So the shang comes after the noun. But then that also means that you can make, now we can also start making more abstract meanings of this, okay, using shang. Like in principle, for instance, all these words can be made using shang at the end. Okay, so we have like in principle, we have basically, we have in, actually not in general, but I'll just write that either way. So like all of these words, we can just say the word principle and then we can say shang. We can say basic and then shang. General, shang. And then we get these words.
Okay.
Principle, shang.
Principal shang.
Basic, shang. Using, and so like, so using shang after these fancy words makes your Chinese even fancier. I'll just say like that.
Okay, but so what's the?
So the idea now.
Can you do an example sentence?
Yes, and that would be 基本上.
基本上.
基本上. So that would be basically. And then I want you to start using 基本上 now because everyone will be so impressed. Be like
基本上.
I 基本上 understand. 怎么说?
Sorry, say again. 什么?
I 基本上 understand. 怎么说?
我基本上明白.
Wonderful. It will be like
基本上明白.
我基本上明白. 我基本上明白. Or like, do you basically understand this? Do you get this more or less? I no, sorry, I will ask you. You will tell me how to say this. I'll have to ask that question.
Oh, sorry. As I said, I'm a bit tired, so my head's a bit off. What was the question again?
Like, do you basically get it? Do you more or less get it? How would I ask that? 用中文怎么用？
你基本上知道吗？
你基本上 well, I'll just go 明白吗？
明白。
基本上明白吗？ Wonderful. So we can stop here, but we'll get back to this grammar point whenever we have more words together with a shang. Okay? So basically, what I'm going for here is that shang has so far been used like physically. So far, shang has been used physically, like on the horse, physically, like on horse, on table, but now more abstractly. Okay, like that. This is the grammar point then. Okay, we'll write that down as well for you. We'll skip this 本来 or 本来. 本来 it means yeah originally. But then I want to go to this one. Yo, by the way, can mean a few different things. What can yo?
It can mean have.
Oh yeah, okay. So you're thinking this have, yo, to have. Yeah. What about this
Okay.
yo? This yo. This yo with a fourth term, by the way. Yo. This is yo with a third term.
Joe. Well, it can mean and.
Nice.
Is it the yo that also means left?
Yes, thank you. It means like left hand. but like only as a building block. It's very confusing that way. So thank you for remembering that. It will help you later on. I'll just do like this. But yeah, let's keep it as yo. It actually means again as well.
Again, okay.
So there are a few things here. There's a grammar point here that is necessary now. We'll talk about it later. And what I'll do here is it's not necessary for these levels. So I'll mention it now, and then I'll make the grammar point for later on. If you say 再说一次, it means say it again. If you said, oh, you said it again, you can't say 你再说, because 再 means you do it again, like you need to, like in the future now. But if you say 又说, then what does this mean? Or 又说.
You've said it again.
Yes, 又说一次了. You said it again.
又说一次了.
Compare these two. Yeah, so it's the yo. You can think of yo together with le. They come together.
Okay.
So 再说一次，又说一次了。
又说一次了.
We can. I'll give you some grammar points. We can talk about that a little bit more. Jianan, that's another one for you. So a lot of Jianan. Okay, now, like the yo is so useful actually. We're going to talk about it one more time here with the yo. Like, if you really want to say, like, I'm telling you I don't like this. Basically, like, I'm saying, I'm telling you, I don't like this. You remember? Or something like that. If you don't want to do something, or say you don't like something, you say 我又 instead of 我不喜欢, you say 我又不喜欢.
Okay, so it kind of enforces it.
Yeah, exactly. It enforces it. Okay. You can imagine like you'll hear sassy Chinese girls using yo a lot, like this.
Okay.
So like, I don't want to go. Tell me in two different ways. I don't want to go.
我又不去.
又不, but it's you need the verb. What's the verb here? Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to.
我
Let's
I
stop.
don't. 我不要.
Yeah, 我不要去, right?
我不要去.
And now add 又 somewhere.
我又不要去.
Nice. Yeah, you don't sound sassy enough when you say it.
我又不要去.
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 Nice. And this leads me on to the third very important thing about yo, and that is that you can say, like you said. By the way, it's my namstad today.
Oh,
you forgot to tell me.
Well, I was planning a little surprise at the end, so I was just now it's ruined.
Oh, sorry. I'll forget that I said that. Sorry. I just felt a bit cranked that you have forgotten my namstad.
Felix, I would never.
谢谢朋友. Oh, 哥们儿. Now, so what this yo has to do with this yo. When we talk about like, you said this, yo means again, basically. So can you tell me a sentence with yo and yo in it?
Well, let me think. 我又不喜欢这个又我不喜欢这个. Can you say it like that?
Yeah, that's fine. 我又不喜欢这个, 又不喜欢这个. Actually, this is more like when you say that someone or something is good or bad, or two things at the at the same time, then you say yo, blah, 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 and yo, blah, blah, blah. So for instance, 我又, and give me an adjective here.
我有爱。
我有 what?
爱。我爱你。
我有, but that's not an adjective.
Oh, adjective. Okay. May.
我又美, or let's say Tim, 又美, and then we say yo what?
有 bend down.
Yo bend down. But you need to think bend down is not an adjective because the down makes it into a noun. It's an egg noun.
Ah, okay. Ben.
Right. Excellent. So Tim, this is how we use it. He's both this and he is this.
Tim, yo May, yo Ben. Okay.
Tim, yo May, yo Ben.
Well, yo May, yo Ben.
So like little pause here. Tim, yo May, yo Ben.
Tim, yo May, yo Ben.
Yeah. And you can say like, but also almost like you said, we can say that this is wrong what you said here. I don't like this. I also don't like this. Because then you would just say, 还有 instead. I don't like this. 还有我不喜欢这个. Use 还有 in this sentence. Okay? And I also tell Jianan here to compare these two. 还有 and 有. Okay, excellent. Now, what you can do though is you can say like, oh, Tim, he's both pretty. Tim, let's go try. And he can speak Chinese.
中国人.
And he can speak Chinese.
Speak. 说中文.
又说中文 and can speak. So I'll just add a 会 here.
会说中文.
I'll say it and you say after me. Tim 又帅又会说中文.
Tim 又帅又会说中文.
Nice. And then you need to start working with this on your own. Chinese people love the word narcissistic. It's one of the most common words that I didn't really know what it meant when I was 18 and moved to China, narcissistic. But in Chinese, I was like, oh, 自恋. 自 means love or self, and 恋 means love. So self-love. Oh, now I get it. Chinese people love 自恋. They think you're very funny. So if you can start saying 我又帅又会说中文, and then you look at yourself and you're like, this is me, guys. Try that one. 我又帅. Sorry?
Well, so they like that word, or they like the acting like that?
A good question. Yes, sorry. Clarify. Chinese people think it's quite funny when you are not so modest. Like the opposite of Jan Lager.
Okay.
They think it's very funny.
Okay.
So you can try that out. Chinese. This is not an official thing that people will be talking about, but I think these jokes go very well with Chinese people. Maybe because they're easily impressed with like, just if you know how to order something in Chinese, they'll be impressed. So they'll give you a lot of praise, and then if you just praise yourself, it's even better. Chinese love narcissistic jokes. I'll say narcissistic jokes.
Narcissistic jokes.
我又帅又会说中文. Coming back to okay, we have different meanings with 想. This is so important. Okay, now we have the 想, getting into the real fancy stuff now. Okay, so first of all, can you tell me how to define 想? 你可以说想是什么意思吗?
Well, it feels like it means so many things. It's more like wish.
Wish.
I would say. Wish.
Good. So if we then, now we have one word to go with. So if we compare wish then to 要, what would 要 be more like?
It's more like I need.
Nice, perfect. That's exactly what Felix would say.
Yes. I
Wish versus a need. So yeah, this has to do with your heart. This has to do with your body. Like you need to. So,
But I thought about that because, like, if you say "wo yao jiga," like if you point at something and said "I want that," it feels like it's not used in a "I need that" way. Like
Yeah,
if
that's
you're in a
very
restaurant, then.
Very true. Let me write that down. If you, because I think many of people ask this as well, and I don't have a good answer. I need to tell you. If you just point at something and just say "我要这个," it has little to do with desire, like need. But that's just the way it is. Is my answer. Sorry. Okay. But like you can think of, if you say, yeah, so let's go with, you get it then if I say, 我想吃饭 or 我要吃饭, you get the difference, no?
Oh yeah, it's more like, yeah, I wish to eat or I would like to eat, and "wo yao" is more like more urgent. It feels like.
Exactly, yes. And it's even more interesting when you put, here we have, I want to, and then a verb. I want to, and then a verb. But here we don't even have a verb. So now it becomes completely different. 我要你 and 我想你. What's the difference here?
"Wo yao" is "I want you,"
Mm-hmm.
and "wo chang" is "I miss you."
Yes, it is. But in Chinese, I want to tell you also that you never have to actually think about xiang as to miss. You can think of think or of. Because, but you were completely right. Maybe this is an easy way to understand it by though. If you say I'm thinking of you, that means I miss you. So you can always think of xiang as to think of something. Think of you. In this context, it's to miss.
Okay.
非常好. So there we go. 非常好. Okay. Then we can combine them. We can say 想要.
想要, yeah.
想要. So
想要.
you can always say 想要, yeah.
But that's more like I want, I wish to have.
Yeah.
Is that the most common thing to say you want something?
You would think so, no? But Chinese people just love their yao, I would say.
It's a beautiful word.
It is a beautiful word. It's just so simple. But if you feel like, oh, I want to be a bit more polite, because it sounds a bit rude, would be like, 我要这个. Then you can say 我想要这个.
我想要这个. 我想要这个.
I'll be like, 非常好. So what I'll say then is 想要 when pointing at something is more the Swedish way. A bit more like, yeah, can I please have this? Thank you. Okay, perfect. Let me see. So it means to want, to desire, and to think of something. Perfect. So there's like there's a circle here, if you can imagine. There's another circle here, and in some places, Xiang and Yao, they intervene with each other, but in other ends of the spectrum, they show a circle of Xiang and Yao. Okay. We can move on because we didn't use that one so much.
Yeah.
Now we have 学, so useful. 学什么意思?
学 is study or school.
Study, not school, but to learn. And what's very funny here is that it also means to imitate. Did you get that from the lesson?
Makes sense.
It also makes me very frustrated that, it's almost indoctrinized in the Chinese school system that learning or studying someone is just mimicking or imitating your teacher. It doesn't think on your own.
Yeah. That's a good way to remember it.
So you can just say 学我. If you write something, or Chinese person writes something, if a Chinese person does calligraphy, and you should follow them, follow their moves. They say, "Show what?" So that in that case, that probably more refers to the imitate me.
Show what?
Show what? Okay.
Show what?
We will work with a few sentences with 学, so we don't need it for now. And yeah, it'll be so useful. We don't have to think about it too much. I want to though talk about the 觉得. So useful. And I'm grateful because in Swedish we have tycka and tänka and like tro as well. And so which one would you say is tycka? It's like opinion.
觉得.
觉得, nice, perfect. 觉得. And tänka, more like to think. Just like I'm just thinking about something. What are you thinking about? And also like to tro has to be like belief. So I'll actually skip that for now. So this is the main difference here. This is like to have an opinion. Sorry, and this is like to just think. Okay. So what would you say if I said 你想什么 versus 你觉得什么?
It feels like the first one is like, what are you thinking of? And the second one is what do you think about this, or what do you think?
What do you think? Your opinion. Perfect. Well, actually, I'm going to maybe confuse you here and say that one of these sentences is not really correct. What do you think?
Maybe the first one, and it's more like, what do you want? What do you wish?
Good. No, the first one is actually okay. I just wanted to see if you could get this one. I think it's a bit complicated, but 你觉得什么? What do you think? Like, we need to talk about something. We can't just, what do you think? Another way to say this, 你觉得, we need to, like, what are we, because there's an opinion here. We need to write what the opinion is. Or we can say, how do you think about this? And then there would be like, 你觉得怎么样 maybe. 你觉得怎么样? So that 你觉得什么 is not an entirely correct sentence. But on that note, we can say, how do you think about it? Or like, yeah, how do you think? How do you say that? Just like I said, if you remember.
你觉得怎么样?
你觉得怎么样?
你觉得
Nice.
怎么样? 你觉得
Make it a longer sentence. Make it, what do you think about my Chinese? First of all, where should we put the 怎么样?
It feels like 怎么样 is always at the end.
Thank you. You're done.
But I'm struggling with, because the 什么 can be in the middle, but the 怎么样.
No, there's no 什么 and 怎么样.
No, but I mean in sentences it feels like 什么 can often be in the middle, but 怎么样.
Let's talk about that a little bit quickly here. 你叫什么? What's your name? 你叫什么名字? What's your name? So this part, now the 什么 is not at the end, but that is because, what is this?
Additional information.
Thank you. And it's a noun, basically, also. Otherwise...
Can it be used the same way with 怎么样?
No. 怎么样, we could always just say something, and then say a little plus. And then we can just say 怎么样.
So like, 怎么样 is like almost always at the end.
Always at the end. Economy, 怎么样? My Chinese, 怎么样? So now we just have to say, you think my Chinese 怎么样?
你觉得我的中文怎么样?
Yes, Tim. 你觉得我的中文怎么样? Say it 2 more times. 你觉得我的中文怎么样?
你觉得我的中文怎么样? 你觉得我的中文怎么样？
Nice.
你
And then
觉得我的中文怎么样？中文
now you can start saying all of these things. You can also start saying like, if someone goes, "Wow, 你的中文很好," then you can be like, "Oh, I don't think my Chinese is very good," or we can mix it up a little bit as well. First of all, I think my Chinese is not good. Maybe let's start with that.
我觉得我的中文不好。
Very good. Or very good. 怎么说 very good?
我觉得我的中文很好。
很好. Very good. Or the word that you learned today or in this lesson recently.
That meant good.
Yeah, or very good. Extremely. Great. Greatly.
I'm thinking 非常好.
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. Okay.
非常好.
非常好.
So let's read that together then. 我觉得我的中文非常好.
我觉得我的中文非常好.
Wonderful. Now,
非常好.
we did a little thing here where we said it's not good, it's very good, or it's so good. You can also say 太好了, of course, yeah?
太好了.
But we can also say one more thing, which is it's fine. 怎么说你 it's fine?
太还好.
Not 太, but it's 还好.
还好.
Okay, so let's read these sentences then. Let's start with this one, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. I'm not sure if 5 is before 4. They're like the same. Okay. 我觉得我的中文不好.
我觉得我的中文不好.
Nice. 我觉得我的中文还好.
我觉得我的中文很好.
还好.
还好. 还好.
我觉得我的中文很好.
我觉得我的中文很好.
Nice. And try do it fast now. 我觉得我的中文非常好.
我觉得我的中文非常好.
Yes, Tim. 我觉得我的中文太好了.
我觉得我的中文太好了. 太好了.
Yes. Now, this is one of those phrases that I want you to sort of repeat to yourself many, many times. And to repeat it so many times that you're saying it this fast. You're already saying it very fast now. And then you'll feel comfortable about it. I think I talked about pitch phrases a little bit. Did I do that?
I'm not sure.
So like,
what do you call it? Pitch phrases?
Pitch phrases, I call them. This will be your pitch phrase. Basically, that just means that there's a whole language. It's an ocean of things. And you know all these words, and that's like the different fish. But then you have your favorite fish, or your favorite, maybe it's a whale or something. And they're very rare, but they're quite rare. But the idea is that you latch onto some of them. And then you can, for instance, 我觉得我的中文很好. Or 不好, we can maybe say. And this will be one of those phrases that you just, as soon as someone compliments you or say something, you will be able to say this sentence. Because first of all, it's very common. But because people will be talking about your Chinese, and then you can answer with it. But secondly, when you've said it enough times, you'll be comfortable with it, and you'll say it fast. So later on, you can also swap out things, because this is in its core. This is a sentence that is so useful. I think that in 2-3 months from now, you'll be able to exchange this to like the economic situation in China is getting worse. I think that. And it's essentially the same core.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I get the point. Yeah, I think it's a good idea too.
Yeah. So the idea here, just try and repeat the sentence to yourself, or choose a few phrases that you like and repeat them to yourself. Like this one.
我觉得我的中文很好.
很好. Do the 很好.
非常.
Do the 非常 maybe. How about the 非常?
我觉得我的中文非常好。
Nice. Okay, now let's extend on this sentence a little bit. I've only was 只 I've only studied for, say, what is it, 2 months?
我只会2月
2个月
2个月
February. 我只学2个月
2个月
and the less maybe somewhere. 我只学
怎么说？
and I'll actually put the le here. 我只学了2个月。
我只学了2个月。
我只学了2个
Can you
月。
read it?
Yeah, 我只
可
学
以，你可以看吗？
可以说吗？
你可以说吗？
我只学了2个月。我只学了2个月。
我只学了2个月。
Nice. I'm going to just make it a little bit more complicated and see if you can follow along. 我只学了2个月的中文。How about this? 的中文。
Chinese.
Yeah, so, but what about the the? Like, does that confuse you? 我只学了
Let's
2
see. I only studied 2 months Chinese.
or of Chinese.
Of Chinese. I can't really explain it, but I don't think it messes it up really.
Thank you. It's just based, yeah. Again, in this case, it just means of. So I just studied 2 months of Chinese. It's a very straightforward sentence,
我
actually.
只会了2个月的中文。
Okay, and then 我觉得我的中文非常好。
我觉得我的中文非常好。
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Thank
非
you.
常好。
谢谢。Okay, then we did the 非常, but we just did that. Compare. So we have the first is 不好. We can even say 非常不好. Well, I guess that's not very common.
非常不好。
We have 不好. We have 还好. We have 非常好. Oh, sorry, we have 很好, your favorite. 非常好. Maybe 太好了. Perfect. That's its own grammar point. Now, there's this point here, 经常. And let's go with 经常, which means often. I hope you knew that.
Yeah, I always forget that sentence, that character to the left. But it's the same character from Yijing, right?
Yes, thank you.
Like already, yeah.
Same.
Yijing. So Jing Chang. Often. Jing Chang.
Perfect. So, going back to black here. Okay, yes, 经常. So the Chang is the Chang from 非常. Did you know that? Fei Chang.
Yeah, yeah.
Fei Chang, good. Okay. Good. So now let's get to it then. Now, first of all, I want to clarify one thing. As soon as people learn often, they want to say how often. First of all, Chinese, or you can't. This is one of the most annoying things in Chinese. One of the most annoying things in Chinese. There's 用中文不可以说 how often. There's simply no way to say how often in Chinese. I'll do like this. Okay, so maybe you want to ask how often do you play tennis every week or football? You can't say that. You can just say 几 and then 次. How many times?
It's okay.
Okay. Well, like, and then it would be like 一个星期几次踢足球 maybe. Play tennis. play football. Like this. 一个星期几次? Does that make sense?
Let's see.
一个星期几次?
一个星期, so like one week.
Yeah.
Is it once a week I play football, or how many?
So this is just one week. In 1 week, 几次?
How many?
Yeah.
So it's in 1 week, how many times you play football?
Yeah. How often every week? This is the equivalent then.
一个星期几次？踢足球，踢足球，踢足球，
足球。Good. You're getting better. You're getting better.
踢足球，
踢足球. Nice.
踢足球。
So let's think of a few. You need to tell me a few times when you use 经常. What's something you do 经常?
经常, I already forgot 影响. There was often. Yeah, often.
Yeah.
影响. 我影响踢足球.
Nice. 我经常踢足球. Very nice.
我影响去工作.
去工作.
去工作.
去工作 yeah. 我经常上班也可以说. Nice. Now, how do you say seldom? 怎么说 seldom? As in the opposite of.
You
know this already. It's very easy.
Yeah, it's 少. No, what was it? 少.
Yeah, you got the 少. But then we don't want to just use one adjective like this. We always want something with the other adjectives.
Yeah, is it small before?
No, it's just
很少.
like 很好,很少.
很少.
Few. So literally just say few or less. This means seldom. So 我很少, and then you say whatever you do very 少. Tell me two things.
我很少. 我很少. What do I do? Not so often. 我很少看书.
Nice.
我很少吃肉.
吃 what?
肉.
Whoa.
吃肉.
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 I heard a T instead of 吃.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the 吃.
我很
少吃肉.
Nice.
我很少吃肉.
Nice.
我很少
A bit with examples unless you want to.
我很少看我的男朋友.
我很少看 very nice. 我很少看我的 Again, you love your boyfriend.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. 我很少看我的女朋友.
Can you say it like that?
Yeah, that's very good. What does this 少 mean? Can mean now?
Like see.
Yes. Perfect. But when you go visit someone, it's the same can. I'm going to visit my parents. I'm going to go. 我要去看我要去看我的爸爸妈妈. Wonderful.
Do you just say Baba Mama? You don't put the and there.
No. That would be silly.
No. That would be
Baba
silly,
Mama.
yeah.
You can say Baba Mama 姐姐. Baba Mama.
爸爸妹妹姐姐哥哥
哥哥姐姐.
姐姐.
Yeah. 弟弟妹妹.
弟弟.
爸爸妈妈哥哥姐姐弟弟妹妹. Yeah. Wait, try it again. 爸爸妈妈哥哥姐姐弟弟妹妹.
Baba, mama,哥哥,
姐姐
what is that? 妹妹,
姐姐
姐姐,弟弟,妹妹.
Yes. That was very
Baba,
fast.
mama, 哥哥, 弟弟, 弟弟, 妹妹.
Yeah, Gigi means penis, by the way. It's Jie. It's not like you say,
姐姐.
yeah, nice.
Uh-huh.
Okay, moving on to a resultative verb. This one is so useful. So there are a few very important things here. But I think the review section should be a bit longer than the practice one, especially now in the beginning. Okay, so 起来. 起来 we learned it from the previous lesson. And can you tell me, 你可以说这个起来是什么意思吗？
Is it get up?
That's it. That's all you have to say.
Oh.
But can also be used in abstract sense. Okay? So, first of all, we can say 儿子, as in son, 起来, or 快起来. Sorry, there's someone drilling. Okay, 儿子, 快起来. Say that, please.
儿子, 快起来.
Nice. So this is more like a literal sense. But now, what's interesting, this 起来 is so important and useful because it can be used like this. Okay, let's go with now resultative verbs. You remember them from 看不到, for instance. This is the resultative verb, correct? And what does it do to the sentence?
Changes it, I suppose.
Yeah, it gives us the result, we can just say.
Yeah, okay.
It's very, yeah, my term saying, calling it resultative verb is trying to explain exactly what it does in the term itself. So this is a resultative verb. Now, 起来, say like this. 起来 can also be a resultative verb. Okay? Do you remember how this happens? If we use 想, for instance.
So what was the question?
Do you remember how we could use 起来 as a resultative verb? Let's use it with 想.
唱起来, 唱起来, 我不知道, 对不起.
No, that is 没关系. Let's start with 想不起来. Because this is a resultative verb, so we know that we can put a 不 before it. Let me mark that in red there, or not in a second. Okay, now. Okay, 想不起来. Okay, so this now means think, can't, now this might sound sexual, can't get it up. But do you see how this can become an abstract meaning of like, wait, I'm trying to think of his phone number. I'm trying to think of the address. Wait. So what I'm doing here is I'm xianging. I'm xiang. Okay. But when I come up with the address, when it pops into my head, then it's 起来. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I remember now. Is it chila? Is it chila you use when it's like 看起来, like you look?
Yes, and 听起来, and you sound.
听起来.
But I think I wanted to start with this example because this I think makes more sense. But these are probably easy to just understand as words.
So then 唱不起来 is shang is like I can't remember, I can't think of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm thinking of it, but I can't. Let's define it then. I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're clearly thinking. Like there's no way you're not sleeping. You're thinking actively, but it just doesn't get to you. So 想不起来. Now we can say 我想. Now if you think of it, you're like, yes, I remember. then this could also be used to say to remember, to think of it now, or to remember, to
So say
recall.
我听起来，我想起来
And then the le.
了啊
Oh, you have to have a oh.
啊，我想起来
Le.
了。
No.
How do you pronounce 想
Xiang.
想 我想
You know, xian, you know xian, no? To like first or 现在.
I don't know any of them, I think.
Yes, you do.
Xi'an, maybe the city.
Xian, no, sorry. Yeah, actually, the city. But let me just write Xian as in first.
I do know that.
Sorry?
Xianzai. Okay, yeah, I do know that. It's not opinion.
You definitely know Xianzai. But Xian, like Xian this and then 然后, it's when you use it in a cab.
Yeah.
Good. So these are the same, but this becomes more like a, in Swedish now, it will become like a xian, it will be more like a, but here, because it's en, or it's ng, so this becomes an a. So xiang and xian. N.
Shang Xian.
Nice.
Shang Xian.
So you try and pronounce the G a little bit. Xiang.
Shang.
And if you try to pronounce this, xian. Now try to put a G at the end. You'll notice that you can't do it. Xiang. That doesn't sound like a word.
Xiang.
It doesn't sound like a word, correct? Xiang.
Not really.
No, good. So there you got it. It's xian and xiang, and that is the same. Compare. Sorry about my neighbor. Yen and yang. Compare yen and yang. Super common. You can also think of. It's actually the same if you think of it. Yen. Wait. Yen. Oh wait, you haven't learned anything with yen yet. We can say chang, mang, yang, kang, yang. Actually, it might be the first example here. So let's just stick with this one, and believe me when I say that they are very common.
I believe you.
Thank you. So let's make some sentences out of these. 想不起来 or 想起来了. For instance, now I can think of the 地址, the address.
我想起来这地址
Let's say this. 这个地址 maybe a lot here.
我想起来这个地址了。
Nice. 我想起来这个地址了。
我想起来这个I'm too tired for this. 地址了。
Nice. You get it? Yeah. By the way, keep that pronunciation because that's the perfect way to pronounce 字 without the H.
字.
Yeah. So this is 字, and this is what you want you to say now is 直. Yeah, that's perfect. Your ex, by the way, think of Xina.
想
起来。这个想起来。Yeah. Let's say something. Let's go with. I'll keep this sentence, but I'll write another one. 我想起来，you should say that. Sorry, I'm sorry. I think I had this in the sentence in the video. I'm sorry, I can't think of your name.
对不起，我想不起来，你名字。
Oh, you said 你名字 nice. That's very Chinese. I'll keep it a lot of the. 对不起，我想不起来你的名字。Very nice. Okay. So now we've done the 想起来了 and then we've done the 想不起来。Now let's do the 看起来 and 听起来。In English, they just sound the same. It's just you